back to Planning to Prosper. You know, we just talked with Michelle Herman from the Sunflower House about abuse and how abuse victims, oftentimes don't get the advocacy they deserve. And now we're going to shift the focus back to business. One thing that 2013 has been called is the year of the video. And we have Tim Anderson, and Tim Anderson is part of R2 LLC. R2 is a company that helps get you from, the static online presence that almost every business has now to a more of an interactive video presence. So you can talk to the people who are coming to your website, people who you're sending emails to about what's going on with your business, and they're hearing it directly from you, not having to scroll down a page and read it. Tim, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Hey, Drew, thanks. I really appreciate being here.
Tim, the first question I'm sure when people hear, hey, you know what, I can do a video, is, man, I'm already spending money on my website. I'm already spending money to have somebody blast email people all the time. Now you're telling me I need a video. What comes next? Tim, first question, is this video thing really that expensive?
I never hear that question. You're right. I hear that question all the time. And it is. People are. I'm a small business owner, so I understand that. That's one of the reasons I got into this, was because I saw a niche. I saw a need in the small business community for affordable, high-quality professional video. Some of the statistics, we're such a visually oriented society. Studies show that 87% of web viewers prefer to watch video as opposed to reading text. I'm like that, and I've made my living for years writing web content. So I kind of talk against myself, but that's how important it is. If you have video on your website, on average, visitors stay 2 minutes longer on your site than if you don't have video. 2 minutes in cyberspace is an eternity. That's like a 2-day visit, basically. So, and one of the things, it really sets, it adds that personal touch. That's the most important thing. It's one thing to go to my site and see a picture of me. You may think I'm kind of funny looking, whatever. You'll read what I've written. That's great. You get a feel for it. It's an entirely different experience when you go to somebody's website and you get to listen to them for a couple of minutes. You get to see how they speak, how they respond, what their attitude is. You already begin to bridge that gap of, I have no idea who this person is, to, you know what? I kind of like this. I think I'll pick up the phone and call this guy.
Yeah, recently on planningtoprosper.org, my site, planningtoprosper.org, we added some video content that is just generic static video content, but people are staying longer. You and I have worked on a video. It's pending compliance approval out there, so don't go looking for it on my site immediately. But you and I have worked on a video. The finished product was phenomenal, I will say. Amazing, amazing product. And the process is fairly simple. Let people know what the process is for a video. They may think, hey, you know what? Where should I set up? How can I do it? Tell people even where you and I set up and how quick and simple this can be for them.
Absolutely. You bet. The process is surprisingly simple. I do it in several locations. A lot of times business owners will ask that I come out to their location, their office. Mm-hmm. They've got a nice office. They want to showcase that. They want to let people get that introduction to where they are, where they expect customers to come. That's fabulous. I show up with the tripod, my camera, a couple of lights, a microphone. All the business owner has to do is show up. I'll kind of take it from there and help them through things. And while we're talking about that, again, I will say, you are on the radio every week. You're pretty much a pro at this sort of thing. So you show up and you just nailed it. I mean, when we did your video, you were Mr. Two Take, and I don't think we really needed the second take. We just did it in case I messed something up on the production side. Yeah. But for business owners, I really encourage business owners to think more in terms of talking points than in terms of an actual script. A lot of business owners think, I'm going to write this down so I'll have this memorized. I'll have my 30 or 45 second or minute script and have it memorized. But honestly, that usually works against them rather than for them. If they'll just be natural, have their 3 or 4 talking points, turns out way more personal, a much better experience for them. In terms of the video that you and I shot, we actually went to the Central Resource Library over on 87th in Lenexa. They've got a new space called Maker Space. One of the things they have in there is a green screen space. Fantastic. Open to the public. We walked in. I didn't even have to bring my lights. I showed up with my tripod, with my camera, turned the lights on. I was set up. When you walked in, you must have been there, I bet, no longer than 8 or 10 minutes, and we were done.
And we're talking with Tim Anderson. Tim is at R2 LLC. You can visit them online at r2llc.net. Is that correct, Tim?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, r2llc.net. You can go online. You can look at some of the work Tim's done. One of the things Tim does every single week is a weekly spotlight where you go out to business owners you do this complimentary. So, hey, everybody out there, you can't get this, but you go out there and you do it complimentary with some business owners where you spotlight their business. And most of those people end up becoming clients because they see the impact of just your quick spotlight. Can you tell people about how you developed that program? What made you come up with that program? Because one of the things we like to let people know is we have people who are very successful on the show. You're very successful at what you do, but how you grew your business.
Well, thanks. I really appreciate your asking about that. It was a year or so ago. I was looking at things in ways to promote my business and other local small, solopreneurs. And I came up with this idea. And the idea is that I'll get together with someone, I'll do a brief, maybe 30-second introduction, and then I'll turn it over to them. And they'll get to do their 30 or 45-second elevator pitch. Tell folks what sets them apart from their competition, what makes their business unique. And I do this, as you said, free of charge. This is a way to serve two purposes. One, obviously, it does promote my business. It shows off my video skills. But it also allows that business owner, without spending a penny, to have that video produced. I send it out to my email list on Tuesday mornings. I send out an email blast. Then I give that video to them so they can put it on their website, their Facebook page. They can send it out in an email blast as well.
And one of the things that we've been talking about as we talk about videos and talk about the internet and where it's headed, if people go out there and they start looking at a lot of their competitors, if they don't have a video, they could be falling behind. And when people look at the risk return of the video, you put it maybe a few $1,000s. It doesn't even cost that much sometimes with you, but you put some money into a video. What's the type of return people can expect besides people just staying online a little bit longer?
Well, I think the main thing is that it really does set people apart from their competition. It's search engine optimization, big buzzword. There are all these companies out there saying, I can help you increase search engine optimization. That's how many people you attract. When somebody goes and does a Google search, how likely is it that Drew Scianna is going to pop up on there, or Tim Anderson, R2 LLC? How likely is it that we're going to pop up? Well, studies have shown that simply by putting a video on your website, it increases your search engine optimization results by over 50 times. It's huge right there. So, your competition doesn't have video, you have competition, you're 50 times more likely to show up in search engine results than they are. Another thing that it does, it immediately establishes you as an expert in your area. So if I do auto repair and there's another shop 6 blocks down the street that does auto repair, I've got a video on there. He doesn't. He just has written text. Well, people, again, will come to that, will gravitate toward that site, and they'll listen to that and say, well, this guy knows what he's talking about. This is pretty good. Look, he showed me how I could, spray a little deal in my carburetor, cleaned up a little bit, and man, I'm good to go for now. Next time I have an issue, I'll go see him.
And that's one of the things that's so important when you're out there and you're trying to brand your business and do stuff. You want to be the expert. One of the things I always do is I always look at what the big boys in my industry do. There's a lot of people in personal finance. I'm not the only person in the world that happens to be in personal finance and wants to manage your money. In fact, if you watch an NFL game, besides commercials for male sexual reproduction systems and urinary tract infections and making sure that you go to the restroom on time, there are probably just as many commercials for people trying to tell you that they need to be the person managing your money. And so what I do is I like to go online and look at those big boys and look at their websites and try to figure out how I can brand myself just like those large companies. And you know what all those large companies have? I mean, if you just go to the websites that are some of the most popular visited websites that aren't search engines, you go to the Fox News, the CNNs, the ESPNs, the NBCs, the CBSs, even the Kansas City Star, which is a newspaper. What do they all have on their websites? They have video. Video is becoming the key. In fact, I go into some sites and it's I like watching videos, but some news stations, some former print media, including our Kansas City Star, now has stories that you can't even read. It's all purely visually based, and you actually have to watch a video to learn about the story. So video is the way the internet is going, and if you're not on the bandwagon right now and you're not jumping on the bandwagon as a tidal wave goes over, your business stands the potential of being crushed. Now, Tim, let people know again where they can find you online. Is it r2llc.net? Is that correct?
That's right, r2llc.net. They can also go to YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, also R2LLC. They can search for that in YouTube, and that'll give them a sampling of the videos I do, including the spotlight videos and a variety of other videos.
And Tim, one question I want to ask you, when people are coming to you and they're doing videos, like you talked about earlier, don't get the talking points. The best thing a person can do is be themselves. If you have a person out there and they're kind of debating, hey, I don't know, and when some people get concerned about videos, I don't know if I want to have necessarily my image put out there. I feel a little bit self-conscious about my personal image. What do you do for people like that? They're a little bit self-conscious that, hey, I might not look the best on video. I might not represent my company the best. There are alternatives out there.
Absolutely. There's several ways to go about that. One is a simple interview sort of a process. A lot of people, you know this, of course, because you do radio interviews all the time. But a lot of people feel more comfortable in an interview process. So I can simply interview them. If that doesn't even move them into their comfort level, then we can get a spokesperson for them. I'm somewhat of an avid screenwriter. I've shot a couple of local shorts that I've written here in town with some buddies. I have connections in the acting community here in town, so it's easy to reach out and get a spokesperson or spokeswoman, spokesman or spokeswoman for this company to represent them. So if they're not comfortable in front of a camera, no problem. We can still take care of that.
And that's so important because I've talked with people before and they're like, hey, I would like to have a video on my site, but maybe they've gained some unexpected weight, or maybe they just always been a little bit concerned about how they look personally, or sometimes business owners, they may be great at their business, but they may be terrible about telling people what their business does and how their business impacts somebody else. And so they want some help, and that's great that you can provide that help for them. Now, final question here for you. When you're doing the videos, people think, hey, it's just the video, thinking about themselves, their image. They aren't thinking about their logos, background music, and adding all their contact information. You help people do that, don't you?
Absolutely. It's a pretty simple process. I use Adobe Premiere Pro editing suite. So it's a highly sophisticated, video editing suite. So that sort of thing is easy. Well, you saw in your video, You sent me some logos. I've got some background music, an image that you liked. I drop all that in Premiere Pro. It blends it all together, meshes it all together seamlessly, comes out with a terrific looking end product.
And I can tell you that, like I said, my video is currently in compliance approval. So if you go to my website, which is planningtoprospershow.com, planningtoprospershow.com, you will not find that video on there. However, what you will find links to is the interviews we've done recently. Like I said, my business, we have a lot of compliance, so it takes me a few days sometimes to get them up. But we'll have interviews with guests like Tim Anderson of R2LLC.net, and we'll have people on there talking about how they've grown their business and how they have been successful and how they oftentimes can help you. You can also, on planningtoprospershow.com, request a complimentary copy of the 20 retirement decisions you need to make. That's right, the 20 retirement decisions you need to make right now. We offer that resource complimentary along with our previous shows. Tim, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We really appreciate it.
Drew, thanks. It's been great.
Well, coming up on Planning to Prosper, you won't want to miss it. We're talking with Kansas State Senator Pat Apple, and one of the things we're going to be talking about is your utility bill. Yes, believe it or not, in the Kansas State Senate, they actually do things that help lower the utilities that you pay, and they're concerned about that. They're concerned about you, the individual. All that and more coming up on Planning to Prosper, Kansas City's most comprehensive business and financial planning show on AM 1660, the KMBZ Business Channel.